Hello again, and welcome to Winning with the Wrangler at Dick Powell's Leadership Corner, brought to you by Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training and Development, where our passion is building leaders of today and tomorrow. The information on today's program was gathered from many different places and people. If you hear yourself in our conversation, it's not all about you. For speaking appearances or some help to coach you through their next opportunity, or to support this program so we can continue on bringing you the very best in leadership knowledge, give us a call at 727-422-1833 or send us an email at ewfw.org, and we'll make it happen. Today's program I'm going to start off with because of things that are happening in our world today. I've entitled this part Fear. And you know, the part about fear is most of the time it's unnecessary. But I want to tell you about something. I just returned from a meeting where I was asked if I could speak to the feeling of fear. You know, everybody said that they're having a fear of the future, they're having a fear of today, they just have all these fears that have creeping up on them. You see, their fears, I believe, are the nation's fears that we live in. I believe that it's being stemmed from non-knowledge. So as I started to put my notes together, my questions started to appear. And for me, and what I'm going to encourage you, that if you're having fear about something, start asking questions about it. So the first thing that came to my mind was, has the media, leaders of corporations, organizations, religious communities become so wrapped up in speaking about the future in a negative way that people are afraid of their tomorrow and today's? You see, when leaders, no matter where, speak in the negative form about the things that are happening in today's world in such a negative manner, it starts to build a situation of people and things and places. And the people around them start to feel the same way. This antsy feeling of fear, and fear brings discussions, sometimes heated. And when they become heated, become dangerous. Now, a long time ago, I really had an interesting opportunity. I listened to a song by John Denver, and I have to tell you, it changed the way I thought my life would go. It went something like this. It's called Blow Up Your TV. Now, for those of you who never heard of this is how the first piece goes. Blow up your TV, throw away your paper. Go to the country, build you a home. Plant a little garden, eat a lot of peaches, try to find Jesus on your own. You see, what he was saying is when you listen to too much TV, you watch too many programs, you read too much in the paper, it'll flat drive you crazy. Now, there was another passage that I was doing some research on, and it comes from a good buddy, Ernest Thompson Seton. He was the first chief scouter in America, but he wrote these words in 1909. He said, "Today we are in a world of social unrest. The domestic problems, we are told, is appalling as it is hopeless. And it will always be, indeed grow and more so, till we settle it by reverting to the family life of pioneer days. A small bedroom off, each maybe one big living room where all may meet and serve. Hard to work with joy and choice of task is merry frolic and fun. Hard work with these left off as slavery, against which humankind will never cease to chafe against fight till, in some sort, they have found escape. Think about why our young people are joining gangs to find escape. Think about why that we're dividing the nation into two. It's your way or my way. Could be we're just not building those relationships, talking to one another, finding out we're all kind of the same but different, and that's good. You see, as you see, the fear of the future has always been with us from the first days of man. Taking action to face the fears, doing something about one's own that you can do, moving on from the ones you can't. Do something you can do about the things you can, and the things you can't, move on. But if you're sitting around in fear the whole time and you just can't get off and do anything, well, you're not helping yourself, you're not helping anyone else. I have to tell you that as I reread the statements from both John Denver and Ernest Thompson Seton, I read and reread the statements of those I had been with. I had felt as though they did. For a moment of understanding had come upon me. I searched myself and found that I was not fearful of the future, especially when I started to ask the hard questions and get them answered. My fear started to dissipate when I found that happening to me. So be aware, and claim your awareness of what you're feeling. If you're feeling fear, ask why. Why am I fearful? What is it? Is it a thing, a person, place? Is it something I can do something about? Is it not? Identify and be exact about that feeling. And yes, you need to confront it. And here's what I'm going to tell you. Do the research. You see, if you're fearful about something, you do the research, you start asking questions, you get them answered, you'll be surprised that you have a choice. I can either be prepared, I can get prepared, by doing what's needed to be done, when it needs to be done, how it needs to be done, to take that fear away. And by being prepared, I'm always ready to execute. You see, then I'm not so fearful anymore. The thing I really want you to sit and write down, and I want you to remember and put really in your mind is, you know that the sun will always appear each and every morning, and a new day is being offered to you. And yes, you have the decision what that offering is going to be. Good, bad, or indifferent. My grandfather often told me as he raised me, and I lived with him for a long time, and he would say, as soon as you wake up, you roll out of bed, your feet hit the floor, you have a decision to make. Am I going to have a good day or not? And his answer always was, you might as well have a good day, because it ain't no fun having a bad day, so make up your mind to have a good one. Kind of took the fear away from a young lad, but I have to tell you, as I grew older, I found that fear dissipating, because I knew right away it was up to me to make that decision. Now, to take some more fear out of your world, you need to know what your basic values are and be able to express them. Yeah. You have to know what they are and why you live by them, why you chose them to live by. Choose to be happy. If you're trying to find happiness in the person sitting next to you, that's not the place. You have to find the happiness in yourself first. And you have to find what makes you happy, not what someone else makes happy. Now, I'm going to encourage you to avoid negative people, places, things, TV, radio, Man, if it's negative, why do you want to listen to it and watch it? I just don't understand. Why do you want to go there and be a part of it? And by golly, why would you want to hang around people who are negative Nellies all the whole time? You'd be surprised if you change that thing. I'm going to encourage you to be yourself, not be someone else. The best thing I ever learned when I was a young person in Cub Scouts was do your best. And that meant do my best, not somebody else's or who was next to me. I was to do the very best I could and not compare myself with somebody else. And the last little piece I'm going to encourage you to do is know what is in your control and what is not. And if it's in your control, you can do something about it. You can have a choice to change it or ride with it. But if it's out of your control, maybe it's not something even to worry about. Think about it. You see, fear only can become real when we believe that it is real. If I told you that there was a lion right outside your doorstep today and you heard a roar, but when you got there and opened it up and you were all afraid, there was no lion, there was just a tape recorder, you see, it wasn't real. But a good friend of mine passed me a note the other day, and he said, Dick, he said, fear, F-E-A-R. Here's what that stands for, son. False expectations appearing real. There's a line outside your door or not. The false expectations appearing real. I want you to think about that and write it down as you think you're going to be fearful today. Remember that when you wake up in the morning, you have a choice to make, and a choice is always yours to do. Am I going to have a good day? Am I going to have a fearful day? Choice is up to you. Fear? I say fear not. If you find yourself in that situation, take the steps to take and correct it. Ask the right questions. Be aware and claim your awareness of what you're feeling. Identify and be exact of the feelings. Confront your fears by doing the research, preparing before you execute. Know that the sun will always appear each and every morning and a new day is being offered to you. Know in practice, confronting your fears, only you can make decisions for yourself. Know what your basic values are and be able to express them. Choose to be happy. Avoid negative people, places, things, TV and radio. Believe in yourself and know what is in your control and what is not. And remember, F-E-A-R, fear, false expectations appearing real. Well, I hope you learned something and grab a hold of a little piece of that, because I'm going to take you into another step today that I believe that goes right along with this. You see, when we're starting to look at things, making choices, which only we can do for ourselves, and you always have choices, by the way. I'm going to take you into leading yourself first. Now, this is a hard one. This is really, it really is. It really, learning to lead yourself and not depending on someone else to make all your choices for you. Actually doing some homework, reading some books, going to some lectures, and learning how to lead yourself first. Well, I'm not going to lie to you. It might be just painful. You see, learning this type of thing, you have to pay the price. There's always a price to pay for learning. Always. So working with the many who want to own, operate, and run their own businesses, as we do here at Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training Development, I have learned one thing that rises to the top. That one thing is the unwillingness to pay the price for achievement and success. You see, some people just sputter at the thought, of dedication, perseverance, and sweat equity. The quote I hear most is, "I'm looking for some luck." Well, let me share this with you. Luck comes to those who prepare themselves to be ready to know when luck arrives. Did you get that? Luck comes to those who prepare themselves to be ready to know when luck arrives. You see, the two questions that it all boils down to are these. Question number one, what are you willing to do to get to where you want to go? And question number two, where do you want to go? You see, as we start to look at that and really start to break it down, we had been talking about fear here just a moment ago, and here it is. This is what people fear the most. Having to answer that question, well, where do you want to go? It amazes me when they come through my doors, and those are the two questions we ask. Well, what are you willing to do to get to where you want to go? Oh, Dick, I'm willing to do anything. Okay, can I make some suggestions? Oh, yeah, Dick, make some suggestions. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Your business calls for getting up at 6 in the morning and being ready to go to work by 8, and getting going and working probably till 8 o'clock at night, and coming home tired and getting ready to go the next day. Getting up early? I thought if I owned my own business, I didn't have to get up early. Oh, what time do you think you had to get up? I'd say. Well, they'd say, well, I think I can be into work at 10 and maybe knock off about 2 o'clock and have about an hour for lunch. I said, well, you're going to fail. I said, it's just simple as that. If you want to be a self-owned, self-proprietary person, entrepreneur, it doesn't work that way. You best go get a job for somebody and try to find a work 9 to 5. But what are you willing to do? Are you willing to give up the TV? Are you willing to take and work the extra hours? Are you willing to take and go back to school to learn something you need to know? Are you willing to take and put in the time to learn? Are you willing to apprentice with someone? Are you willing? And what do you want to do? When I had made my mind that my gifts that were given to me were speaking on stage and doing some instruction work, I went and took some classes. I went and took more classes. I've gone to more seminars. I've listened to more people who are quicker, faster, better than I am, because I'm willing to put in the time that it makes it happen. You see, when I ask these two questions, it's always the same. They simply have no answer. They've never even considered it. And I think to myself, what's wrong with our schools that no one's ever considered it? Guidance counselors, are you just not there, or what's the deal? You see, they believe they've been told that luck will find them without any work or planning. It'll just happen. The statement is this: if you're not planning your life, someone else is and will. And it's a fact. I wrote those words over 20 years ago, and when I started telling people that was a fact, they looked at me kind of funny. It's amazing how many of those folks have come back to me and said, Dick, you were right on the money all those years ago. How come no one ever told us about it before we were, picking our college career? We were picking our career we were going to do. And some folks like myself, I won't tell you I didn't. I kind of fell into my career, but I found out I loved it. So it must have been right. You see, it's just all there is to it. There will be times, though, when you've put your time and your effort in. You've made your vision, your future picture, your mission, your purpose. You've got them down pat. You've made a strategy, your plan. You've worked it, and life steps in the way. Meaning, there will be times you must do what you do not like to do, or do what you do want to do to survive long enough to realize the effort? Let me explain that. There were times I didn't really like digging holes and climbing poles and rescuing people. That really wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a writer and a speaker, and I wanted to be an instructor and help people help themselves get to where they wanted to go by helping them find that out and realize it. But there were times I had to just really do what I didn't want to do. Dig those holes, climb those poles, do whatever needed done to take sure I took care of my family. And I didn't really put my dreams on hold, and I'm not telling you to. I'm telling you to slow them down maybe. Maybe you're going to have to take and just leave them there for a second or two while you're doing what you have to do to survive long enough to do what you want to do. And the difference between successful people and non-successful people, I'm going to give you a hint. They're the ones willing to do what needs done. You see, even today, I'm pretty darn successful, and I'm very fortunate to do what I do, and I'm very, very, very fortunate to have done what I've done in my life. But there's still times when the toilet needs cleaning in the house, and I need to do that. So what are you willing to do to get to where you want to go? You got it, did you? I still need to take and mow the grass and trim the trees and take care of the house and bring in a nice livelihood to take care of the family. There's some parts of those I just don't care to do. Some like this I love to do. But what are you willing to do to get to where you want to go? You've got to know that ending question in order to make it happen. Well, I'll tell you a little story. You see, I worked a 30-year career with one thought, and it used to kind of irritate people when I'd tell them, this career is temporary. Yeah, I worked a 30-year career with one thought, that it was temporary. What I'm doing today, I would say, will allow me to do what I want to do later. And yes, that job allowed me to provide for my family in a way that made sense. It allowed me to take them on vacations. It allowed me to be a Cub master and a Scout master and be active in my church leadership. And I still had time to build a couple companies. Some of those companies worked, some did not survive. But you see, I practiced my calling of speaking and writing, preparing for that day that I knew would follow those 30 years career. Did I like every single day? Heck no. What I did was I made a game out of even the days I didn't like. It was temporary. And they'd say, 30 years is temporary? Well, it goes by pretty darn quick when you're married and have a couple of young people and you're doing all the things you should be doing with your family. And you're willing to work the overtime and do whatever needs done to take and bring in so people have. I made a game out of it. I knew it would not be forever. It'd be just for a while. So what are you doing today to prepare for tomorrow? That's your question. Okay? That's your step number one. I want you to write that down. Write it down and get it done. What are you doing today is preparing you for tomorrow. A lot of times I spoke at places and I ate a lot of chicken and whatever meal they were serving. That's the only payment I got. Sometimes it was a breakfast, sometimes it was a lunch, sometimes it was a dinner. But you know what? That all paid off when I finally was able to start being paid for what I was speaking. That was amazing to me. Step number 2, write out and review frequently. Okay? I mean, write it out and get it frequent. First of all, your vision. Your vision is your future picture. And there's lots of parts and pieces that go into that, because if you have a significant other, you have a family, they need to be included in that future picture. Where are you going to live? What are you going to be doing? How much money you need to be making? What are you going to drive? There's a lot of questions that go in there. And if you're struggling with that, you need to contact us here at Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training and Development and let us help you. The second part of step number 2 that you're going to write out and review frequently is your mission. What's your mission? Your purpose, your calling. You need to figure it out. There are ways to do it, and they're pretty darn easy. Well, they're not really easy, but they're hard and easy. They're easy and hard. And again, we can help you with those. But once you have your vision, you know what you're looking to build or make and make happen, and you know what your mission, you know why you were called here on earth. To do what? Making the third step of step number 2 is doing your strategy. That's your day-to-day plan that you're going to do day to day so you can live your vision, live your mission, and achieve your vision. Got that? Your day-to-day plan so you can live your mission and achieve your vision. Sounds pretty easy. Glad to help you. Step number 3. What you're doing today is temporary, not forever. So what are you doing today goes right back to that first step number 1, doesn't it? What are you doing today to preparing yourself for tomorrow? What you're doing today is temporary. What are you doing on top of that to prepare? Step number 4. You can spend your way to prosperity. You cannot spend your way to prosperity. Step number 4, you cannot spend your way to prosperity. You're going to need to take and have a budget, and the biggest key to life is live below your income. Now, those are 4 easy steps that I put together, Miss Robin, and I'll tell you what, we live by these things, kids. We actually go by it, and that's what we do. We've always done. Step number 1, what are you doing today to prepare yourself for tomorrow? Step number 2, write out and frequently review your vision, your future picture, your mission, your purpose, calling, or your strategy, your plan. Those 3 things are step number 2. Step number 3, what you must do today is temporary, not forever. Got to remember that. What I'm doing today is just temporary. And step number 4, if you get nothing else out of this, write this one down. You cannot, got it? Cannot spend your way to prosperity. Budget. Live below your income. Today we've looked at 2 important pieces of life. We looked at the piece of fear. In today's world, fearmongers are everywhere, and if you end up listening to them too much, they'll suck you in real quick. And 2, we looked at how to lead yourself first and get yourself where you need to go. Well, as usual, I see our time's coming to a close, and it always kind of shocks me just a little bit because I do enjoy sharing with you every single day. On behalf of myself, Dick Powell, and the whole Leadership Corner team, we want to say thank you for being a part of today's program. Our hope is that you have received a nugget of wisdom and guidance that will help you build your leadership ability. Now, if you have any questions or comments on today's program, we encourage you to give us a call. 727-422-1833. 727-422-1833. Go to our website, ewfw.org. There's a place to click on there and contact us at any time. Or you can just send me an email. You want to send me an email direct, I'd just love to have it. dick@ewfw.org. Pretty simple. Stands for Earth, Wind, Fire, Water. dick@ewfw.org. Now, I'm going to encourage you, though, when you know that you need a good, a great, a fantastic, a super wonderful keynote speaker to come to your world and lay down some leadership and accountability opportunities to those folks around you, just give us a call here at 727-422-1833. And until next time, this is DW the Regular saying, ride hard, ride fast.